Okay, well, today is a very, very, very special episode.
Yep.
Special episode. Today, we honour our muldadtat, our mother.
We do.
Yes, and on the date this goes out, September 13th, it will be 1 year since her transition, which is crazy to think of.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Time is flying. It just seems wild.
Crazy to think of.
Seems wild.
We've been wanting to speak about our mother for a bit, but we just didn't have the strength yet.
Yeah.
But this seems like the right time because she's the big reason behind why we do the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
She is its biggest supporter. I try and say is because as we know, physical transition isn't the end. So I always speak in present tense. But yeah, she is its biggest supporter. So it's a big motivation for us to keep doing it. She loved listening to the podcast. She used to like run her baths in the morning and then just listen to the podcast while she's in it.
Over and over again as well. I'd be like, oh, you heard that episode a few times. She'd be like, yeah, I'm going to hear it again.
She's like, it's amazing.
Yeah, she really loved it. Really loves it.
Really loves it. And continues to show us support. So, for anyone who doesn't know our mother, her tribal name is Nafar Ib Em Áashtat, which means beautiful heart, one of the mighty throne, which really just was a fitting name, really sums her up.
Yeah, it summed her up nicely.
So, I don't know, I thought we'd just share a few stories, the experiences today. I'm going to try and get through this episode without crying. I'm not even a crier, but,
this is different level though, right?
These days I'll be crying a lot.
It's a different type of thing. Yeah. You can't explain this particular feeling. You either know it or you don't. So
yeah, pretty much.
So
I'm going to try and keep it upbeat. Maybe emotional, but we move with it.
We'll try to smile like she would want us to,
yes, right? She is always smiling. Always smiling. And much like I think I get my smile from her. But yeah. But someone actually shared a nice story about her to you the other day. Maybe we should open with that.
Oh,
Talk a bit about what she was like.
They did. Maybe it kind of sums her up a little bit as well because obviously it would have been long before we were here, but someone who knew her from school times just randomly expressed to me about how the strongest memory they have of her was in the school playground. You used to come out of school, go into the playground. Obviously, you're supposed to be playing. You're supposed to have fun, and she would always be holding her school bag with all her books in it, all the time, constantly. And that was the memory that kind of stuck with that particular person. They're like, yeah, just always with a school bag. You say to her, well, why you got your school bag? We're in the playground. But that was muldadtat. Just very book smart, very very book smart,
very smart, very smart. I guess some might say little nerdy, but just super smart.
Loved her knowledge, loved her facts, knew something about everything.
That's what we always used to say to her. You know something about it. There wasn't something you couldn't ask her that she didn't know something about.
Which was impressive to say the least. Any topic in the world, like, oh, what does this mean? What happened here? And she'd, okay, let me explain it to you. And so that kind of was her, very academically gifted, very book smart, obviously was a tutor, teacher. So that translated nicely into her later life, but just extremely smart. Yeah,
I kind of feel like her intelligence more got appreciated in her adulthood. Obviously, as a child, it's not the most popular thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we're hearing the stories, and obviously, it's like, oh, you're the one that's always studying, you're the one that's always reading your books, and so on and so forth. And so you might not be appreciated as much. And when you get later on in life, everyone's coming to you like, oh, I need to learn this.
I need you to teach my children.
Yeah, I need you to help me. So, and that was just one of the things that kind of hit me the most about everything that happened, was the effect that she had on people. When you mentioned teaching people's children, people showing up, people that I knew, but showing up like, oh, I have to be here. So I recall the little period that we were in the hospital, and people showing up and they're sitting down beside a bed, and I'm kind of looking at them after a while like, you've paid your respects. You don't feel like you have to. And they're like, no, are you kidding me? The effect that this woman had on my life, I'm staying here. I'm sitting here.
That's a big thing to say. Education was one of her biggest passions. So, you know, from being a college teacher onto a tutor. Even before that, she had like a fruitful career. She used to work in the city.
Yeah.
So she studied computing.
Programming. She was a programmer.
Computer science and programming. She was a programmer in the city.
And anybody who knows anything about programming, plus adding to working in London City as a black woman, knows that you have to be good. You have to be good to be doing that, especially at that time as well. You know, nowadays companies got diversity laws and stuff like that. Back then, it wasn't any of that. Back in that day,
she was very much the only one there.
Exactly. So to get to that place where you're working in the city, surrounded obviously by largely white men, you're working in a city, you're a programmer, you know you have to have some gifts to be doing that. And so she was a programmer, she was a computer programmer. And yeah, she's just super talented in that area, if that makes sense. And she always used to remind us like, oh yeah, you know, I could have been a big shot, I could have had a big shot career, but then you guys, we didn't make any decisions. So, you know, you got to talk to Muldad about that. That's nothing to do with us.
That's one thing to say. I think you would have to say her biggest passion was mothering. Because even my cousin had said to me a few months back, she was like, everyone, the whole family, because my cousin's a lot older than me, so would know things I didn't. She was saying everyone thought she was crazy when she abandoned her career to go and be a mother and sort of centered her business around that and teaching. That. But she always knew she wanted to be a mother. She always said to me, I knew I wanted to be an educator and a mother above all. So she really prioritized that. And
haven't we benefited from it? Haven't we benefited from it? Yeah, she was just, when it comes to, I mean, both our parents, muldadtat and muldad, their passion for us, their support of us has always been unlimited. So we've always felt that love. We've been blessed and gifted to feel that love. Not everyone who makes it to the physical realm necessarily feels that. So we were always blessed to feel that. And her passion for us, that's what it was. You go to her social media pages.
I was gonna say,
are probably still live, right? Go on there. All you'll see is us. She might be in the profile picture somewhere, but every post was something we were doing.
Exactly. Because even around the period where we're organising for the balloon ceremony and celebration of life, I was trying to find some pictures. There's two things I noticed. First of all, on her social media, there's just pictures of us, barely any of her. And then when I did actually find other pictures, she's never alone in a picture. She's either with a child or a muldad, father, or with somebody. She's like never alone in pictures. So I kind of noticed that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and then you realise what people are passionate about as well. You just take a step back. So I took a step back and just went through, I think, her Instagram. I was just like, damn, every single post was just like, Walker Crew, ontologic education. My children are doing this. They're about to teach over here. They're going to perform there. They're going to do that. And it was just constant. I was like, yeah, it was very clear what mattered to her when you go through it. And so that was really what it was about for her. It was like, okay, she used to joke about it. Yeah, I could have been big shot programmer. She was a big shot programmer, but her passion was obviously children, teaching. Was a wonderful teacher, and you can see as well the effect. And I feel for Summer. I feel like we've got younger cousins who she was tutoring, and obviously they've had the shortest experience with her because of their age. So I feel almost sorry because there's certain people who've grown now, full adults, and they come back like, yeah, your parents really, or your mum helped me a lot, got me through this exam, taught me this, got me this job, I want to be working in this career, and then you start to realize, oh yeah, the effect was profound, and you become proud, like, yeah, that's my mum, that's my mum.
Yeah, I didn't even, until this happened, I didn't know the level of the effect till we had the balloon ceremony and then the celebration of life, and just hearing people say things that I really had no idea. Yeah, I knew some of it, but just like the effect of, I literally wouldn't be here. Yeah. Where I'm at without your mother.
Without your mother.
It kind of made me realize as well, she's not just our mother.
Yeah, because
that's my mum.
Yeah.
But she is a mother to many. And even our little cousins were so brave to make a speech. Talked about just tutoring sessions with her, how she's more than a tutor, isn't it?
Yeah, she becomes your mother.
She always listened to their stories before they would go into, preparing for the exams or studying. She was always an ear to listen and always a support system for so many.
Yeah, family, isn't it? Anyone who was tutored by her felt like, oh yeah, this isn't my tutor. It's like my auntie. This is family, and she would have that effect on them. Whereby, no, okay, yeah, we need you to learn this because you got to pass this exam. But at the same time, this isn't a business transaction. So everyone came here, and they can say it themselves. I know for a fact they came here and felt the love. So they come here, they get taught, but they feel the love. And our younger cousin just expressed, man, there was times where I just had terrible days at school. I had a bad day at school, but come here and would just get lifted. And so, she had that effect. Anyone in the Nefrutat that we ran.
Oh, well, let's get onto that. Because we really got to give muldadtat her props because she is quietly graceful. So anyone who met her initially, she's quite reserved. Even when we went over to America and we were able to bring our parents to the ball, some sisters said, oh, your mum's so graceful. And, she's like, I see where you get your charm from and your politeness. She's just so graceful, polite. So our muldadtat was never one to like toot her own horn or so we really got to do that now and just give it to her. So what we have in our tribe is muldadtat, our student association, which been running for a long time, over a decade. So our UK sector of that branch, I'm trying to think of the right word, UK chapter, it was largely supported by our parents, and our muldadtat was pivotal to that. So I'll let you speak on that. Even just hearing people, even at the balloon ceremony, it was something surreal.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to anyone who attended, who came to the Nefrutat knows the role that she played in the Nefrutat. She was the one. Nobody could try anything. Nobody could try anything. You knew that if you put a foot wrong, but most people just accepted it. I messed up. I didn't attend for a couple of weeks. They just knew I need to come in and I just need to take what's coming. Where have you been? I was at work and stuff. So they know the role that she played, but she had the love for everyone. So she was definitely the sort of glue of the entire group. We done a lot. Obviously, we were young when it started. Certainly, you guys were very young.
Yeah, I was like 15.
Yeah, 15, and then
I'm 27 now, by the way.
Yeah. You put your age out there. Yeah. Let them know. Yeah. So Shamu would have been young, 12.
Yeah, young.
So very young. So we had members even younger than Shamu. So everyone was young coming up through, and obviously there was a lot of focus on youth at that time and trying to grow us into student teachers. It's the student association, right? So student teachers of Baba Yanun. Right, but she was the glue. She had the love. She had the presence, and that's what I'm saying. You go, like you say, she would always move graceful, especially when we go to other places and just I'm just here. But in the madrasa, she was just crucial, and anyone that was there knows that. Just the glue, loves everyone, knew how to love everyone in a different way that they required love. Knew how to speak to different people in the group.
Scold you with kindness.
Yeah.
That's one thing. A brother said, I just never felt judged. I just felt like the love. But still, she would tell you.
Yeah. It's like, well, you need to help with this. So where you been?
She always had this way of saying something like heavy, but with kindness.
Right? And so you had people sort of turning up and waiting, like, if I haven't acted right this last few weeks, I know. Let me just. So sometimes apologizing before you. But listen, I know. I'm sorry. Okay. She's looking at me. So she had that ability to just keep everyone on path, keep everyone feeling together. We not only studied together, we worked hard together, performed together, taught together. We also enjoyed together. Some of my best memories were the game nights, the movie nights, the going on trips and stuff like that. And so she just had that presence, that ability to make everyone feel welcome. And she kind of, I would say from our view, took on that sort of motherly role.
Yes,
of the madrasa.
That's what someone described her as like the matriarch of madrasa over here. Like,
Indeed.
Like and even for me and other young sisters in the tribe, just a great example of what it is to be a feminine and a mother, a sacred feminine. And yeah, I've learned and continue to learn so much from my muldadtat. So,
And many have, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Many have. So yeah, that would be the key sort of thing that I would mention tribally in terms of, okay, now that Madrasa Tashrat, that group, I felt like we had a lot of love. We have a lot of love. Obviously, you know, people have gotten a little bit older now. But we have a lot of love. Everyone who was in there, the tribe in general, all felt the love from muldadtat, and the way that she went about it was very impactful. And like I said, you had different roles, and some people obviously would teach every Saturday, because obviously we had the whole thing. We run our madrasa class, we teach to the public on Saturdays, and so you had our teachers, you had other people who might be organising this and organising that, but muldadtat, just the role, the all encompassing. Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of all of you.
A facilitator.
Yeah, a facilitator.
I remember that's how our parents used to describe it. Even from the fact they homeschooled us, home educated us, they took a very different approach to it. I mean, it was out there anyway at the time, especially over here in the UK. At that time, home education wasn't a big thing. Yeah. Especially for people of African descent. So all our friends were looking at her like, what are you
what are you doing? What are you doing? We had what, friends, family looking like, what's going on here?
They used to complain about the whole schooling system.
Yeah.
But then once she was like, okay, I'm going to educate them myself.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Don't understand it. But that was, it was quite a big decision. I feel like, especially looking back now, we were obviously younger, we were children. So maybe, although we knew, this is a big decision to come out of school, not go to the school systems and get taught at home. But you don't fully understand it until you look back. Upon it,
wow.
And realize, that would have taken some strength.
Yeah, some courage.
Some courage.
Muldadtat, very courageous.
Yeah.
A very courageous woman.
And like you say, quietly courageous. Didn't boast about it. Didn't be like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that. Look, you know. But when you look back on it, you look, oh damn, you made that decision at that time. Muldadtat made that decision at that time. That wouldn't have been easy. The ridicule you would have got from people around who were like, what are you doing? What's going on there? But I was always just, at that time, I just remember thinking, yeah, I'm out of school. It's good. You know, so you only look back on it like, wow, yeah, that was a huge decision.
Yeah, I didn't get it at the time. I was like, oh, my friends. But looking back, I got it. Oh yeah, which brings me back to my point. Like, that was their whole approach in home educating us, was to be facilitators. So she kind of learned, because some people would have the approach, just school at home, schedule this and that. But more so, our parents' approach was, okay, what do you actually want to do? And we'll facilitate that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they call it child-led learning now, but back then it didn't have a term. They were just like, well, explore your interests. We're not going to tell you what you have to learn and what you have to be. Because the thing about children is they're going to learn anyway. They naturally have an inclination to learn. You don't have to force them to. If they want to do something, they will learn how to do it.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And so that was our experience, exactly, really.
Yeah.
It was like, okay.
Example, I remember a memory of Shamu, our youngest brother. So he was like real little then. And I think he had a game he wanted to play or something he wanted to build. So that pushed him. Then he was like, I'm going to learn to read. Yeah. It was, and he learned to read within a week.
It was the game. I remember exactly what you're talking about. It was the game. He was very young. And he was just like, he needed to play. It was a particular game that he wanted to master.
Yeah, because she never forced him to learn to read. Just like in his own time, he'd do what he wanted.
And you could see it. And he was like, I need to master this game. And he was very young. I can't remember, but he was very, very young. And he was like, yeah, in order to master this game, I need to know the instructions. And that was what motivated him to read. And that week, he knew how to read. And so it was pushed, obviously, when it came to certain pivotal moments, certain exams that you felt like, okay, that might be crucial for our future. Obviously, there was a push. Okay, you want to get your maths, you want to get your English, you want to get your science and those type of things.
So passionate about maths.
Yeah.
Very a maths whiz.
Yeah, love their numbers. I got countless memories of Countdown just being on.
Countdown.
Through the day. And she's just like, when the maths comes on, because you obviously get the words.
Her and Ray.
Yeah,
Ray is got that maths with.
Anyone who knows Ray knows the guy is just, I know, he's just got numbers.
He's just good with numbers.
Just numbers floating around in his head, and that comes from muldadtat. And so they would watch Countdown and they'll be enjoying it. But as soon as the number round comes on, Ray and muldadtat, kapow. Yeah, you got it? Nah, yeah, well, I got it, you ain't got it. And they're competing, and it's, yeah. And so that was wonderful to see. So yeah, they were very good with numbers, both of them. And muldadtat loved their maths. And so that's where, so you had the fundamental, because she was an educator anyway, even when we were home educated, we had the foundation and the fundamentals to learn whatever it is we needed to learn. And so obviously in going on to, after home education, went on to college, went on to uni and graduated, that foundation of that maths at that time, the GCSE level, it wasn't difficult because she knew all that stuff. And obviously she's our mother, so she can teach us anytime, if that makes sense. So
yes, sometimes when you get a little cocky with it, like, yeah, I don't need to revise that much. My mother got me.
Yeah, she good. I remember one time having a conversation with her about it. She's like, did you revise today? And I was like, well, we got this. And she was like, revise. So I was like, oh, okay. So.
He was always a last minute reviser anyway. Yeah. And then kabam, aced it.
Yeah.
Some people are just blessed.
I don't, I'm not trying to, but I did okay. I remember. It actually reminds me of another conversation because she brought it up again in uni. And I was uni time. I think I had an assignment to do. And I think I had about 6-7 weeks to do the assignment. Something like that. And into the last week, I hadn't done anything.
Obviously.
So I'm not advising this approach to uni, okay? Do your assignments. But last week I hadn't done anything, and she's like, that assignment you mentioned a couple months back, you done it? I was like, well, yeah, she's like, oh. But I aced the assignment though. So that's the thing, when you get fuel to your, you don't act right.
Yeah.
You don't act right. But I can just remember her. Countless conversations. She was a constant presence, is the point I'm trying to get out.
That was you with class as well.
Yeah. Don't tell them.
Oh, sorry. Don't tell them. I didn't mean to spill your business.
Don't tell them. No. Saturday class. I know I got a lot of people coming up to me after Saturday class like, wow, yeah, great class.
Where you relay the knowledge.
Yeah, relay it. And I feel blessed to have been in that seat. And you don't get me wrong. When I first started Saturday class, I can remember I was kind of, we have this thing in our tribe where sometimes you're thrown up there.
Baptism of fire.
Baptism of fire.
Mainly for the brothers.
Yeah. Certainly.
Sisters,
yeah. Quality had mad prep time.
Yeah,
a lot of prep time. The triads, because we had the triad in Madrasa Tashrak, which was 3 brothers, me, Retu, a brother called Sheps, a good brother. And then we had the quality, you and 3 other
feminine. Yeah.
And yeah, triad, we were thrown in there. I wasn't originally a member of the triad, actually. So they were thrown, Retu was even worse. The me just, go ahead, get up there and teach. I think I was told on a Friday that you're teaching tomorrow. I was like, really? What am I teaching? So then you just dive into your book. So at first I was very, read. And then obviously you get to a point where, sometimes the way, I'm not advising it, but sometimes I'll be like, I'm good. I just go up on stage and see what happens.
It's the way you absorb information. You got to study for what's best for your being.
Yeah. So. Some people, they read and you got to do what's best for you, right? And me, it was like, okay, so it'll come.
2 minutes before getting on stage. No, I'm joking.
2 minutes for getting on stage. But she was a constant presence in that, in the Saturday classes, constant presence in university, college, just a constant presence.
Always there.
In anything that mattered to us. So always present, and so always putting her 2 piece in, but never overbearing. Trusted us, but was there for us, is the best way I can put it. If that makes sense. I always felt
supported, like in whatever I wanted to do, even if it was a bit out there, like, because you know me, they're indecisive.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
A lot. Yeah, a little bit, but she would be there. She'll be there. That's why if you go through all the pictures of the Saturday classes,
she's there.
She's right there at the front row. Won't be hard to find her. So
she's either at the front row or at the back, because sometimes we'd have books there. Or one week she cooked. Oh yeah, she cooked some West African food, some akara. Boy, people loved that. Because I used to make some juices, and then she was like, "Oh, let's cook one week." So she cooked the akara, sold out.
People yammed it up. And so so she was always there, always present in every moment. And that's why if you go through any significant moment, certainly of my life, the same for you, the same for all 5 of us, any significant moment, she's there somewhere. If you've got a picture, if you've got a video of it, she's there somewhere. And so going back to like early times, I remember I was watching a video, maybe a week or 2 after she transitioned, of the first time I ever performed drumming. I was like 9, 7, I don't know, really young in
Djembe
school.
drum.
Djembe drum. you don't know that we djembe drum a bit, check out Walker Cruise. Are we still got videos up on Walker Cruise?
We do.
YouTube, a couple of drumming videos.
I believe we do.
Yeah, check it out. Maybe we'll throw that in the link. But yeah, the first time I ever performed, and you just hear her screaming in the background, yeah. And so for every significant moment of my life, and that's obviously, you know, won't be a singular experience to us, but yeah, she was just there all the time, constantly,
and just so much fun.
Yeah,
it's one thing to say about muldadtat. She's a very witty, funny person.
Yeah. Very sharp.
Very, almost dramatic as well. Very just larger than life.
Yeah, indeed.
Big
personality, especially to those who knew her best.
Yeah.
Yes, very witty. Had some great comebacks.
Yeah.
Some great jokes. Some on the edge jokes.
We used to banter like we were siblings sometimes. Yeah. And she had the good comebacks. Yeah. She would roast us.
She would definitely roast you. She'd be like, "You're my mother. You can't say what you just said." I can't even say some of the things. But she would roast you and make jokes, and she was very witty, very, very quick-minded. You say something and she's got you. Sometimes you come and it's a serious conversation. Muldadtat, this has happened. Kapow, joke, roasted. So this is serious.
More dad, our father, would almost describe her sometimes as a little mischievous.
Yeah, a little mischievous. And that's, to be honest, because I know you probably want to get onto that, but that's exactly how she looks every time she visits me in a dream. If that makes sense, just look at that mischievous smile, and it's like, what are you smiling about?
Like, I know something you don't.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's nothing to smile about. This is terrible. She's like, is it? And like, you know, so it's different level, and that was the you know, experience. Anyone who speaks on her as well, going back to the Madrasa as well, will always speak on her wit, her comedic ability, the fact that she kept everyone laughing and smiling and at ease. You know, it wasn't the environment. Obviously, we took studying seriously at certain moments, but especially the language, the knowledge, but the environment was a fun environment, and she was a big part of that. You know, just jokes, you know, smiles, laughs, and she had an infectious laugh as well. You know her laugh. Sometimes there's nothing to be laughing about. She's laughing, you know the laugh, and you have to laugh as well. So yeah, she had that down to a T.
I want to talk about the balloon ceremony next, because that was a special day.
It was.
October 9th last year.
Yeah, that sounds right, because we would have picked the 9th, wouldn't we?
Yeah, well, it all just kind of came together that way as well, interestingly enough. Mm-hmm. But anyone who was there will tell you that day, there was something different going on that day, the energy. First of all, it was beautiful hearing everyone's speeches. Mm-hmm. A lot of emotion. Of course. Wow, and even I learned things that I didn't know of how she affected people. Yeah. And she was like, one sister was like, she made me see what I could be as a mother. Yeah.
Which is amazing to hear, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously we made some speeches. A lot of love was felt in the room. I particularly remember when we released the balloons. The balloons kind of moved in a way, like some sort of spiral and everyone was just like,
what's going on there? Well, yeah, everyone who was there knows that there was definitely something. You like you say, the energy was unique anyway. Yeah. I had people coming up to me, expressing certain things, like I felt something. I had a brother coming up to me and saying, yeah, when we was chanting, I felt her nudge me. I felt something.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you knew she was around. We as obviously as well, and maybe it connects, had dreams to the effect that she was around as well.
Yeah, leading up to that whole period. And this is the one thing I would say. As a Sabian, you know, you read, you study the culture, you know the culture. But there's certain things you're just not going to know until it happens. So even though this has been the hardest time of our lives, it was also the most spiritual, the most spiritually powerful time. Yeah. Like, things were happening where it was like, wow. So we know when you transition, you get that sort of 60 to 90 day period to visit your loved ones initially before you move on to do what you're going to do, your spirit orientation. So in that period, she was visiting us a lot, leading up to the balloon ceremony and the cremation, because we cremate in our culture. We'll get into the reasons why in another episode. But she was constantly visiting us, even checking in, like, okay. Even one time she visited me, like, how was the balloon ceremony, I was there. Like,
Yeah.
So we knew she was there with us every step.
Every step of the way. Even just things that were happening. We have our good brother Sha'ep, who did the image of her.
Yeah.
The one that's gone around. We could put that out as well. Well, it's out already. And even the day that we got that image from him, she had visited. I forget who she visited, because we'd always wake up every day and just share all our dreams. But she visited, like, yeah, I like that picture. That's a good, yeah, that's good. That's good. So each night leading into something, leading into the cremation, or each night leading into the balloon ceremony, the next day she would visit.
Yeah.
And we would dream her coming with us. So she's like, yeah, don't worry, I'm here.
Yeah, she'd come with us, the cremation balloon ceremony, always in our garb.
Mm-hmm.
She's so about the culture. That's always one thing.
Yeah.
That's paramount. Yeah. Like, she's about the culture.
Yeah,
and I've seen that in the dreams even.
Always looking the part, right? Always looking the part. And so that is, you're 100% correct. That has been the most, just impactful. Obviously, like you say, it's a difficult thing to deal with. But the spiritual experiences that we've had, not all which we can say, obviously, but some of the spiritual experiences have been amazing. Yeah,
she's given us certain messages. Even me, she gave me a message to tell my dad, my father. Yeah. So that was...
And that was deep.
That was a deep message.
If I say so myself, that was deep, because obviously you have certain battles when something like this happens. And Mullad is going through it. But there was something that he needed to know that was important. So, and something that that, okay, she knows, because it wasn't straightforward, but she knew exactly how to deliver it, came to you, delivered it, and then that was delivered. So those experiences and more and deeper stories, to the fact that, because like you say, you read the culture, you read the knowledge, you're like, oh, okay, when someone transitions, they get this amount of time to visit, this happens, they're connected this way, they can do this. But to see it in practice, that's why we felt grateful for the culture, grateful for the knowledge, grateful for the doctrine, because certain things we knew and were expecting, and then to see them play out
exactly how the master teacher said.
Exactly
how the master teacher said.
You're like, wow.
So
that was powerful. Wow. That was powerful. But because obviously we've gone back to what you mentioned about the balloon ceremony. Yes, something was going on. So we had that experience, different experiences from the people there. And then, when we released the balloons, definitely we've still got the video of it, but they the way they moved, they spiraled, and then they went in a particular direction. All of them, all together.
I've never seen
all
that.
In sync and up into that direction, and the way it moved, we're like, okay, that seemed like something more.
Yeah, people said to me, I've never been to a balloon ceremony like that. And some people have been in the culture for time.
Yeah,
like way before I was born.
Indeed. So to hear that was like, okay, that's nice. That's powerful. So the balloon ceremony was powerful. Yeah,
and it was really an honouring of her. Even my little tribal cousin, she's like 7. She was like, wow, that's the... she says it in such a way. She was like, that's the best funeral I've ever been to.
Yeah.
It's like, well...
Mad love for that family.
Mad love.
Yeah. But that was it. And everyone had their own take on it, but we was all unified in the agreement. Oh, okay, that was special. So that's just nice, because obviously when this happens, you want to do it right, and you're not sure of especially if you haven't been through something like that before, you're not sure of yourself.
Yeah,
you're trying to do it how it should be done.
We were running around, trying to make sure everything was right.
It was a blur.
Liaising, making sure we had all the cultural stuff. So getting stuff sent over from the States, and just like making sure. And you never know you're doing it right, but the energy I felt on that day. Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Confirmation,
indeed. And like you said, we're going back and forth, we're running around, we're going through it as well. But we're trying to, but we got to get this right. We got to do everything that's supposed to be done culturally and spiritually to help her on her journey. And so you're trying to do that. And so that day was beautiful, because that's a bit of a confirmation that, because obviously you approach it like, we're doing the best we can, but that confirmation that it went right from that perspective. Yeah, that was nice. But what has been most impactful to me is that leading on to the spiritual experiences and the dreams and the confirmation of the culture and the knowledge. And I'm convinced that she's not behaving over there. On the other side, she's doing what she wants to do, and she's breaking some rules. And I was like,
she's told us some things. Yeah. Like, I'm like, are you allowed to
say that? So things have been said, and I can only speak to that. I think, like you say, we've got the life after death. episode is that? Or have we got a life after death episode?
We've got an episode on reincarnation.
But we haven't got a life. So there are certain sciences that are more, a different episode we'll go into and maybe relate it to some of our experiences. I'm, a firm believer that some of your experiences are your own experiences. So certain things we'll keep to ourselves. But what I can confirm is that when you read scrolls like the spiritual you after the physical you dies, and scrolls like that, Baba knows what he's speaking about.
Yeah, just
a little bit.
The being knows. The man knows. The man might know what he's talking about. You know,
just consider that possibility. This is a divine being. He knows what he's saying. So to have that and to go through those experiences, spiritually, the dreams, the visits, the she said some things.
She continues to visit.
Yeah,
and something shifted after those 60 to 90 days where I was like, okay, this is a different being now.
Yeah.
Like the dreams are very vivid, one, and it just seems like you're transported somewhere. And I remember my close sister said to me, oh, you all must be spiritual family, the way you kind of operate and get each other and the connection you have. Because, she's still checking in, telling us certain things as if like, oh, we still got a job to do together. So I'm working on my side.
You guys got your end?
You'll better work on your end.
You guys got your end? Because that's the thing. And that's the most difficult thing emotionally, psychologically. Anyone who's been through something like this knows that you have your days where you're just like, forget it all.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to do nothing.
Yeah.
And she comes like, well, we got a job to do. And it's like, okay, all right, you're working hard on that side. So I can't possibly not work hard on this, if that makes sense. And so to have that spiritual connection whereby it's clear that what we are doing in our physical incarnation goes beyond our physical incarnation is a nice feeling where you're like, okay, she's like, I've transitioned, but there's still work to be done. So we doing this? And it's like, okay, I can't say no, can I? So let's do this. So that's a nice thing to have that, because you're working hard on the physical. But like you say, to have that spiritual connection, obviously we know it's a genetic connection, and to have her constantly coming through and being like, kapow, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that, little things here and there that you can't deny that, okay, there's some divinity or there's some the spiritual world. If you ever needed confirmation, we didn't, but we've had it, if that makes sense. Certain things have been said, whether it's on a prediction level or whether it's she knows something that it's like, well, how do you know that? If that makes sense. And
you remind me, something happened where I won't go into too much detail, but she visited one of our tribal brothers and told something to him that only she could have known and only us in this house knew. So that was more confirmation. That
was about,
because he came to us like,
yeah,
and we're like, how do you know that?
How do you know that? She's like, well, she told me, sent me to help, offer my assistance. And so it's like, oh, all right. Yeah, confirmations of those nature, because those types of things, it's different level, because you know that, okay, only we know this. So if someone else knows this, that's the confirmation that you need in terms of, okay, there's something going on. So I always emphasize, and I'll say this to anyone who's lost, I put that in quotations, lost someone or had someone transition, it's important to remember that they're not gone. Because that we say it and we teach it so often, but it's different in essence to teach it scientifically. Like, oh no, okay, spiritual world exists, you got plane of forces, etherical plane, but to feel it is a different level. And I can only emphasize, I know a lot of us know it already. They're not gone. They are connected to you. They are with you always, especially when you're dealing with a spiritual, genetic, family-like connection. But even going beyond that, they are here, and it's important to acknowledge and remember that. Because when we don't acknowledge that, we're actually pushing them away.
Exactly that.
And so we have to remember that. So I always, set up your altar. Speak to your family.
It's important.
Speak to your family.
I know for me, I was struggling with talking to her. Because it hurt too much, basically. Yeah. But I know I was speaking to my tribal sister, and she was like, no, you have to talk to her, otherwise you push her away. You have to talk to her. Just tell her what's going on, how you feel. She is like, even the fact that you're scared to talk to her, tell her that. She knows you.
Yeah, indeed.
You're her child.
Indeed. And that's the thing you remember, isn't it? Because when it happens, there's almost like this is different now. but there's a certain essence of it that remains the same. You just talk to them like you talk to them. Talk to them the same, keep them apprised and informed of what's happening. Speak of your feelings, speak about whatever you want to, whatever you would normally speak about, and keep that flowing. And I can absolutely confirm that that is real. And you just have to remember that they are here, they are connected, and they're still very much present. And often they're waiting for you just to make the, they're there waiting, like, I'm ready. And they're just waiting for you to make the connection as well. So everybody's going to have different experiences. When people transition, when people pass, no experience is going to be the same. But what I can say is that they are here. They are here. And obviously just to see that in action, to see that in activity, to still see even the comedic edge, because that's what I was saying as well. A lot of the time she comes and she's smirking. And we're waking up like, what is there to smirk about? This isn't smiling type activity. This isn't good.
This isn't good.
And she's just smirking like, yeah, it's cool. So to have that and still see the personality come through, it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. But then you have certain things also in addition to that. It's like, oh, wow. Oh, this. Oh, that. Oh, are you allowed to tell us that? And so on and so forth. That I can say, personally speaking, has been impactful. And so a core reason why we maintain the podcast, if you go back over the last year as well, I don't know what the exact dates and stuff like that is, but what you'll see is that not in, when you actually think about it, not long after she transitioned, we would have a release. I'm not sure if it's a month or two, maybe a couple of months. I can't remember. Yeah. But the main reason that we continued the podcast was her, because trust me, we were going through it. And
we was going through it. I didn't even want to do the podcast anymore.
Yeah, it's like, we ain't trying to do that. And so the reason that we continued it, the reason that we was like, okay, let's get something out. You see the release rules
go up and down.
The rate go up and down. Like, Kapow, we're back. Oh, you ain't seen us for a while. Kapow, we're back. You ain't seen us for a while. And that's because we were having that psychological and emotional battle, that difficulty of, but can we keep going in the presence of such, what felt like such a travesty, if that makes sense, such a disaster in a way. But the main reason that you saw us keep going was her. It was like, okay, but she loves the podcast. She loves it. She's probably waiting right now for the next episode. Like, I mean, more if you have to. But
when's release my episodes.
Yeah. And so that was the main reason we kept going. So you saw it go up and down in that period, but it was like, we have to keep going. We have to build the platform, because she was enjoying it. She was enjoying it very much. And our approach to the knowledge and the doctrine was always very simple, in the sense that we was like, we can touch one person in our entire, process of teaching or getting out knowledge. If we touch one person, we touched one person. If one person learned something and came to us like, hey, I liked that class, then it's like, okay, we touched one person. So it was never, we were very careful as well. And she was a big part of that also, of never letting ego become a part of spreading this doctrine or spreading this culture or spreading this knowledge. And so the thought, and we always had those talks doing Saturday class all those years ago. It was like, if one person turns on, we had both levels. When we first started Saturday class, I remember we started in Selby Centre in Tottenham. We might have had one or two people coming up onto the heights of Selby, where the class was packed, people squeezing in.
We built that from the ground.
Built it from the ground up, and she was there all the way through. Built it to the people squeezing in. The people who managed the centre are coming like, hey, listen, there's a lot of people in this room. It's not really well. We're like, hey, listen, that's Baba, we got the knowledge. So to get to that point, to when we had our temple, people squeezing into the temple, packed classes. And she was always a part of that. But the message that we always had together was like, listen, we teach the class the same if one person comes. Then if 10 people come, 50 people, 100 people, 150, no matter what the crowd is,
week in, week out,
we teach the same. And obviously she was a part of that message. And so that's really what motivated us to continue doing the podcast. Because it's like, well, what if there's just one subscriber on the YouTube who's like, yeah, but I needed that. I need a dose of reality. Where's it at? It's like, okay, we got to do our jobs and so. And then when you add it to the fact that she was visiting us in the dreams, like, yeah, still working, still doing it. It's like, okay, what are we going to do?
And that surprised me. I was like, I thought you was going to rest.
Yeah, it's on chill. And she was like, the work has only just begun.
The work has only just begun.
So that was an enlightening or an endarkening in our culture, experience to see that in action. And so we maintained it. And so we maintained it and we'll continue to maintain it. And she'll be a big part of that constantly. Is a big part of that. Will continue to be a big part of that constantly. And understand that when you see a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say, the way you guys speak and the elegance, a lot of that comes directly from her.
Oh.
Directly from her.
Directly from her. So elegant, so just well-spoken, so intelligent.
Yeah.
And just really had a cadence to the way she relayed things. She'd always, I always said, she was like, she is the best teacher I've met because she could relay things in a way that was suited to the student to get it. She could assess the student and say, I'm going to say it like this.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not big on maths. I try now. Ray more got that gene.
Yeah, Ray's got the gene.
But when I was going through my maths exams, she was able to explain things to me in a way that I got it by knowing how my mind works.
Yeah.
And that was very much her approach to tutoring anybody. So that was amazing.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something I've pulled directly for her. I was very proud actually this year because I started teaching at the college.
Yeah, you started teaching in
the college.
In a college?
Yeah.
And muldadtat, our mother, used to teach in a college.
Used to teach in the college. So I was like, that's okay, that's nice, that's symbolic. It was nice as well because I told people at the balloon ceremony, the celebration of life, I said, I got to become a teacher now to honor her. And when you're making speeches at these events, it's emotional. You say things after the event finishes, like, why did I tell everyone I was going to become a teacher? Now I've got to do it. And so, and
you was already a teacher.
Indeed. So
that's
already
really,
teaching.
That's really in you.
Yeah, thank you. But I feel like that came directly from her in that sense. So obviously, always teaching Saturday class helped with private tuition, but to go into the college was just a representation I felt of the fact that I'm
mirrored
her. Exactly. One of her.
You
her
felt
paths.
Connected to her.
Indeed. So upon teaching in the college, it was like that. And obviously just pulling that skill directly from her, because when you teach in a college, one thing I will say is I get all different types of students. Some who are advanced, some who are less advanced, some who learn visually, some who learn by explanation, some who learn practically, so on and so forth. And so finding a way to make sure that everybody leaves the class having learnt something is not always an easy thing. And that's a skill that I've pulled directly from watching her in the way that she taught different types of students and gave them different things in terms of what they might need in order to grasp or grow in whatever subject or topic they're learning. So that's a beautiful thing. I am very proud to do that. I've been walking in the college like, yeah, you see me, I'm doing this. So that is a beautiful thing, and that comes from her. And so there's different types of teaching. Obviously, I've been teaching for quite a while. Private tuition, done a little bit, helped her with that. And so this was just a mirror of her situation, the fact that she went through and taught at a college level, which is obviously, can be very, satisfying, fulfilling when you see someone. I remember at the end of my last semester, I had a bunch of students come to me like, sir, here's some gifts, you helped us through this. And I was like, okay.
I still can't believe people are calling you sir.
Yeah, that's right, I'm sir. I'm sir. Teacher, sir. And I was like, yeah, that's me. So it took me a while to get used to. So they were saying sir, I was looking around like, and they're like, yeah. So, but all of that, the reason I speak of it is it makes me feel, if it were possible, even more connected to muldadtat, because that's obviously one of the exact paths that she took, and always used to tell me about her college stories. And so that's like I say, I'll go to the author and I'll just tell her about some of the stories, some of the funny things my students do when they're panicking, because she used to do the same. I had a student that did this, student that did that, and now you see it. People are funny. People are funny people.
People are hilarious.
People are hilarious. And so to see that in activity, and I use that as well to make the point again, speak to whoever's transitioned in your family. Speak to them, have the pictures up. They can hear you. They are looking to listen and hear, and they're looking for the connection, as with our ancestors in general. You have your Nasabu, your relatives, your Salafu, your ancestors, and your Nadaru, your overseers, and all are waiting to hear from you, if they're on this side or the other, if that makes sense. So I'd emphasize that point.
Exactly that. While I was talking, you reminded me of a thought I had the other day. I'll just share with you, because I get little things I like to write down, little quotes. And it occurred to me that the beautiful tragedy of life is your best memories will one day become your saddest memories. So when we think back to times with muldadtat, those are like our happiest memories, but now also our saddest memories, but then they become happy again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, life is such a nuanced thing. You think back on those memories and you're like happy and sad all at the same time.
At the same time, which is the essence of duality that we always speak of. That's existence, really. So it's something that's capable of making you feel that level of happiness. It's also capable in some way of making you feel some level of sadness, because emotions are always on opposite ends of the spectrum, but the same. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a lot of things that you look back on. You cherish things. That's what I will say. When something like this happens, you start to cherish what seemed like a normal thing when someone was present physically. Be like, oh yeah, she should do that, she should do this, she should do that. And so you cherish it. But you're exactly correct. You look back on certain happy moments, you're like, yeah. And then obviously you feel the sadness. But you try and bring it back. That's what I'd always say. We're a very close family, and we've always tried to bring everything back to a happy place, if that makes sense. It's not always easy, but that's how I would recommend you go about life. Try and bring it to a happy place. And that one thing I'd emphasize and to remember is that what I would say is it was a shock as well. So when this happened, it wasn't expected. It wasn't as though we were prepared for it in any sense or shape or fashion. It was like, nah, you know. And so in that, it was the adaptation. We had to adapt quickly in terms of, okay, we have to lift each other. You go through whatever you need to go through, but we have to lift each other back to a happy place because she's around and she wants to see us happy. If that makes sense.
I remember you said to me at the time, said something like, love has to win. It has to be, love has to be the overriding factor through all of this.
It has to be.
Because there was some tough feelings. There was some situations surrounding it, but you were just like, we just have to move in love for her. Yeah, for her. Love has to win. And like, you're exactly correct. There's a lot of things that have happened. And living tribally, living in a tribe in this time where we're trying to grow away from a civilization, if you like, the Western civilization, which has brutalized us. It's not easy. You encounter a lot of different types of beings on our journey. But what I would say is exactly what you said. And yeah, I guess I would have said it. Yeah, love has to overpower everything. No matter what you're feeling, you're going to feel it all. Yeah. You're going to feel the sadness. You're going to feel the anger. Love has to overcome. But love has to overcome it. And that's the way we move. We move in love. We moved in love when she was physically here. We move in love when she is spiritually here. We move in love, and love overpowered everything. And there were some feelings. There are some feelings. It's like, nah, this ain't fair. Like you said, the situation surrounding it and so on and so forth. And it doesn't feel right to have someone, I don't like to use that word, snatched away, but that's how it felt. Yeah. So instantaneously out of what appeared to be nowhere. And so you go through all different types of thoughts and feelings. But exactly correct. Love overpowers it all. Or love should if it overpower it all. And it so has to, because that's all we have for her. And yeah, if that's the one thing I could leave people with, I even said it in my speech at the balloon ceremony. If you care for someone, love someone, you have to let them know. Like, don't let petty things or, don't let time pass you by. If there's something you feel about someone, let them know. Because I was at peace in the sense that, well, I knew muldadtat knew exactly how we felt about her, how I feel about her, because we let her know. Yeah, we let her know. And there was people who came around like, I never got to tell her how I felt. Yeah. And it was just a reminder to me, because to see that pain and guilt, that was tough to witness. It was just a reminder to me, if you care for someone and you love them, you just have to let them know. Just let them know. Just say it. Just say it. Say it. And we like you say, when we go through the ups and downs of physical life, we forget that. We forget the simplicities of just telling people, hey. Yeah, I got love for you. I love you. And I admire you. That's a big one. You have an impact on me, on my life. And that's, like you say, it's a big one. And when whatever we're going through, sometimes, no, I ain't saying that. I ain't going to say this. And then time passes. A little thing that could have been like, I'm not saying it today. You don't say it for 10 years, 15 years. Time passes. Time passes. So, yeah, exactly that. You feel a certain way about someone, definitely let them know. And you're exactly correct. We had a peace
because there was no doubt in our minds that muldadtat knows exactly how we feel, and we know exactly how she feels. So we had that, and we have that at least, where it's like, okay, there's none of this, but you're like, oh, but I didn't get to say this and I didn't get to say that. She knows exactly how we feel. We're a very close family, always been that way. Sometimes, you know, people look upon us like, oh, it's a bit strange. What's going on there? You know, why are they so tight? And so we've dealt with that, but we remain a very close family. Even with one of us on the other side of existence, we remain very close, very tight.
Yeah, I couldn't have got through this without you.
Yeah, and same here.
I will say that.
So we're grateful to have each other. We're grateful to have each other.
Very grateful.
Very grateful. So yeah.
Yes, I feel like we've shared a lot.
Yeah.
But we had to
say something.
Had to honour our muldadtat.
I know she on the other side like, I gotta get something. Episode, a song, something. I better get something. So,
absolutely had to gather the strength to do this. I think, and today I actually want to introduce a new segment I've been telling you I want to do. So you know me, I love a good motivational quote, a good saying about life.
You do.
I love those. So I thought I'd just share some sayings I've picked up along life. Even our master has a lot of sayings, Baba, and just things people have said to me. So it feels fitting to share a saying our muldadtat always used to say to me. And it was, don't ask, don't get. It's very simple.
Very simple.
But you know, me, I was very shy as a child. Still kind of am, little socially awkward, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't come through here.
Yeah, hopefully not, but yeah, more than a little bit. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry. I had to get a jab in honor. She would have respected that jab.
So whenever I was scared to like use my voice or ask for something or learn about something or even just approach someone new, she'd always say to me, don't ask, don't get. Like, you're literally guaranteeing yourself you don't get what you need if you don't ask. But if you do ask, you never know what will happen.
That's very true.
I take that saying in life with me. So yeah, that's the dose.
That's the dose.
That's the dose for today.
The dose. I'm
calling
the name.
that the dose.
The dose.
That's the dose for you all.
Yeah.
So, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, we can wrap it up there.
This has been a dose of reality. I want to thank you all very much for listening. I totally forgot at the beginning, for all those new to our channel, I'm Nefrutat. It's my brother Amakhu.
Yeah, I'm Amakhu.
Yes, and this is the Dose of Reality podcast. We're giving you a dose.
Yeah, giving you a dose of reality.
What's really going on.
So yeah, check us out. Stay hooked, subscribe.
Yeah, we got lots of new content coming. I think we're on this now. We got a flow.
Yeah, we got a flow.
We're churning them out. We better maintain it, or muldadtat's going to be looking like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just certain things that need to be said and exposed about what's going on. And as student teachers of Baba Yanon, it's one of our jobs. So we are very much here to inform you all of what's happening in doses. And I advise everyone to watch the videos and watch them carefully. Watch the videos. You'll definitely find something, in my opinion, that will keep you here, and that's what I would advise. So yeah.
Also, thanks for all the love lately. I've been seeing the comments on our channel, and it's like, touch my heart.
Yeah. I see that. I see them as well. It's very nice. So people come and just sort of acknowledge and show you love. We appreciate it very much. That's what I will say. We really do.
We do. This has been very therapeutic for me.
I'm glad.
Very therapeutic.
I'm glad. So. It was a difficult. I was like, okay, I gotta get myself together. You know, we'd be smiling a lot on the podcast. Like, we gotta maintain the smile as well, because we like to smile. We naturally smile. We're just in that way. But I wasn't sure I was gonna smile for this one, but it naturally comes through. So yeah.
We do. Real quick, tell them that Tesco story of like.
Oh yeah, wild. So we're shopping in Tesco's. Yeah, we'll end on that note. We're shopping in Tesco's. What is this?
It's like
3 weeks, maybe.
It's very soon after muldadtat transition.
Very soon.
Maybe
a week or two.
A week or two.
Maybe a week or two. We had to do some shopping. You know, we was, and obviously in the house, a lot of orders were coming in to take away this, take away that, because like we ain't trying to leave it. I'm just staying right here. So yeah, bank account was taking hits in that time period. Cup out. But anyway, so we're shopping. And we're just naturally, I think we're just walking through having a conversation, and some random guy approached us. This is a couple of weeks after muldadtat has transitioned.
We're literally in the midst of the worst time of our lives.
The worst period, bar none. All that. Some guy comes up to us and says, the way you guys are smiling. Yeah, how do you just emanate an energy? Really?
He said,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you say it.
No, because it's that word. You probably remember that.
I remember. He was like, I know you all must be blessed.
Yes, that was it. I know you all must be blessed. And we're like, thank you. Thank you very much. He walked away. We looked at each other. We're like, what? He has no idea. It's the worst time of our lives.
We're at our lowest.
This is our lowest
And he was
point.
like, I know you all must be blessed.
Yeah, I know you are. Look at those smiles. Yeah. And he went on like, yeah, you've made my day. I'm going to smile now.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's a nice thing. We walked away. We looked at each other like, what? It couldn't have been worse timing. 3 weeks ago, that would have been fine. He's to come up here. So that was an interesting experience. But I think naturally what I will say is we smile, right? We have a smile.
Yeah, we get that from our parents.
Yeah, we get that from our parents. They like to smile. And so we have that natural smiling instinct. And sometimes we're smiling. Like, I could be dropping the deepest knowledge, the heaviest stuff, telling you something that you probably don't want to hear. And I'm smiling. You think, what's he smiling? It's natural. I'll be smiling.
It's just our faces.
Yeah, that's just how our faces are just set. And so, yeah, we maintain that. But that was an interesting experience. There's plenty of stories that I'll tell in the episodes upcoming about little experiences that we've had, before and after the transition. But that was an interesting one.
Yeah, exactly. And just in life, we've seen some things. We got to start dropping like this whole... We've seen some things. Over the years.
Over the years, we've seen some things. We do not... One thing I would emphasize, we do not jump on this podcast lightly and spread this information without knowing exactly what we're saying, right? So we've read and we've seen some things and we've experienced some things, and we keep it very... At the moment, we speak about personal experiences and we speak, I think, more so about what we've read, the knowledge, the doctrine, what's going on in the world as well. But as we go through this, more of the personal experiences will come out, more of the personal motivators and why we do what we do come out. And yeah, we've seen some things. And so we live in a very interesting world, which is going to become more interesting by the moment. You can trust me on that.
Not even by the minute, by the moment.
By the moment.
So yeah. Thank you all for listening to us share about our muldadtat. Yes, I'm happy we got this done because I really did want to
do something
to honour her. And you'll probably hear us talking about her a lot now. Yeah. It helps us, even when I like when people share stories, come to me and share stories about her.
Exactly.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
How we come. Thank you all. Thank you all. Stay tuned. Got more content coming out. This is a special episode, so there might be something very soon after this as well.
Yeah, we might drop some. We might drop 2 things this week. We'll see.
We'll see. But thank you all for listening. Yeah, stay tuned.
Stay connected, because we're giving you a dose. But for now, farewell. Wadu.
Farewell. Wadu.